I never thought my wedding day would be the beginning of a war I didn't know I was signing up for. But there she was, standing in her designer dress with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes, whispering words that would haunt me for months to come. The grand ballroom of the Riverside Hotel was everything I had dreamed of. Crystal chandeliers cast a warm glow over tables draped in ivory silk, and the scent of roses filled the air. Marcus looked at me like I was the only person in the room, his hand warm in mine as we greeted our guests. His parents, Harper and Henry, had been nothing but welcoming since the day we got engaged. My own parents had passed away when I was in college, leaving me with a deep longing for that sense of belonging. Then Sienna glided over, Luke trailing behind her. She was Marcus's older brother's wife, and her dress probably cost more than my entire wedding budget. She leaned in to kiss my cheek, and that's when I heard it, barely audible beneath the music. How quaint that you made your own decorations. I suppose when you don't come from much, you have to get creative with your budget. I pulled back, certain I had misheard, but the gleam in her eyes told me everything. Marcus was already being pulled away by a friend, completely oblivious. Sienna pressed an envelope into my hands. "Our gift," she said loudly. "I wanted to get you something from Tiffany's, but Luke insisted we be practical." She glanced at the handmade centerpieces I had spent weeks creating. "I see you're very into the DIY aesthetic." Harper appeared at that moment, her hand on Sienna's shoulder. "The decorations are absolutely beautiful, Elise. I've never seen such personal touches at a wedding." Sienna's smile tightened. As Harper moved away, Sienna leaned in once more. "Enjoy your moment, sweetie. It's all downhill from here." Across the room, an elderly woman in a wheelchair watched the interaction with sharp, intelligent eyes. Nana, Marcus's grandmother, gave me the slightest nod, as if she had seen everything. The honeymoon should have been paradise. Marcus had saved for 2 years to take me to Santorini, and the whitewashed buildings against the brilliant blue sea were like something out of a dream. But Sienna called or texted at least twice a day. Each time, it was some new emergency that required Marcus's immediate attention. A question about the family business, a request for advice on redecorating, a crisis about some event that hadn't even been scheduled yet. "I'm so sorry," Marcus said on our 4th day. "She's never been this clingy before." That evening, I checked social media and found my answer. Sienna had posted a photo from what she called an intimate family celebration during our honeymoon. The caption read, "So grateful for family who show up when it matters. Some people are just too busy for the important things in life." The photo showed Harper, Henry, Luke, and Sienna at an upscale restaurant. Harper looked uncomfortable, and Henry wasn't smiling. But Sienna had positioned herself front and center. Marcus called his mother immediately. "Mom, what's this about a family celebration?" I could hear Harper's sigh. "Sweetheart, it was just dinner. Sienna insisted on celebrating her work promotion, but honestly, we would have rather waited until you got back. Don't let it ruin your honeymoon." But the damage was done. For the rest of the trip, I couldn't shake the feeling that Sienna was marking her territory, showing she could intrude whenever she wanted. When we returned home, I threw myself into preparing for Harper's birthday party. I wanted to give her something special, so I spent weeks working on a handmade memory book filled with photos I had carefully collected from family members, each page decorated with small mementos and handwritten notes. I had even tracked down photos from Harper's childhood, including one of her as a young girl with Nana. The birthday dinner was at Lucia's, one of the most exclusive Italian restaurants in the city. Sienna arrived 15 minutes late in a red gown, carrying a large Louis Vuitton shopping bag. When it came time for gifts, Sienna practically leaped from her seat. "I'll go first." She pulled out a stunning Hermes handbag. "I know how much you love classic pieces, Harper. This is from their latest collection. It took me months to get on the waiting list." Harper accepted it graciously. "It's beautiful, Sienna. Very generous." "Only the best for you, Mom," Sienna said, deliberately using the familiar term. She glanced at my wrapped package. "I'm sure whatever Elise got you will be just as special in its own way." The way she said it made clear she expected my gift to pale in comparison. My hands trembled as I handed Harper the memory book. Harper carefully unwrapped it and opened the cover. Her fingers traced over the first page, which showed her as a bride next to a photo of Marcus and me on our wedding day. "Something old, something new," the caption read. She turned page after page, each one bringing tears and laughter. Photos of Marcus and Luke as children, family vacations, milestones. I had spent hours interviewing Henry, Nana, and Harper's old friends to get the stories right. The final page showed young Harper with Nana next to a recent photo of 3 generations of women, including me. "You're part of our story now," I had written beneath it. Harper stood and pulled me into a tight embrace, tears streaming down her face. "This is the most thoughtful gift anyone has ever given me. Thank you, sweetheart." I caught Sienna's expression over Harper's shoulder. Her smile had frozen, and her eyes had gone cold. "It's very sweet," Sienna said, her tone dripping with condescension. "Very crafty. I mean, when you can't afford the finer things, handmade gifts are always an option. I remember making things like this in elementary school. The table went silent. But it was Nana who spoke, her voice cutting through the tension. Sienna, dear, I've lived 87 years, and I've received countless expensive gifts that I've forgotten within a week. But the gifts that matter, the ones that show someone truly knows and loves you, those are priceless. Elise's gift shows more class and consideration than anything money can buy. Perhaps that's something you should reflect on. Sienna's face flushed red. She laughed, a brittle sound. Of course, Nana, I didn't mean anything by it. But I saw Harper look at Sienna with disappointment. As we left the restaurant, Nana caught my hand. Walk with me tomorrow, child. We need to talk. The next day, I met Nana at the botanical gardens. We began a slow circuit around the rose garden, and then Nana spoke about Sienna's pattern over the years. How she would subtly undermine Luke's confidence, create competition between the brothers, always positioning herself as the favorite daughter-in-law. There was an incident 3 years ago, Nana continued. Luke and Sienna were struggling financially. Henry offered to help them, but instead of paying off their debts as promised, Sienna went on a shopping spree. When Harper confronted her, Sienna threw a fit and didn't speak to them for months. Nana reached into her bag and pulled out a small velvet box. Inside was an antique gold bracelet with tiny emeralds. This belonged to my mother. She gave it to me when I married into this family, and I want you to have it. You're going to need strength, Elise. Sienna sees you as a threat because Harper already loves you like a daughter, and you don't need expensive things to show your worth. That terrifies someone whose entire identity is built on external validation. I wore the bracelet every day after that, a reminder of Nana's faith in me. 2 months later, Sienna announced she was pregnant. We all gathered at Harper and Henry's house to celebrate, and that's when Sienna dropped her bombshell. Luke and I have been talking, and we think it would be best if we moved in here. Just until the baby is a bit older. It would be so much easier with Harper around to help. I watched Harper's face. She smiled, but it was strained. That's quite a big decision, Sienna. Oh, we wouldn't disrupt anything, Sienna assured her. In fact, I've been thinking about some updates we could make. That guest wing could be converted into a perfect nursery suite, and the kitchen could use some modernizing. Henry spoke up. Sienna, this is our home. We're not looking to renovate. Of course, I'm just thinking out loud, but surely you want what's best for your grandchild. It was emotional blackmail, and I could see it working on Luke. Harper said they would think about it and discuss it privately, but I noticed how quickly she changed the subject. I didn't mean to overhear the phone conversation. I had gone outside to the garden when I heard Sienna's voice through the open window. I'm telling you, Jennifer, it's perfect. Once we're living here, it'll be so much easier to convince them to sign over the house. They're getting older anyway. And this place is worth at least $3 million. My blood ran cold. Luke is completely on board, of course. He doesn't know about the full plan, but he will be. And once we have the house, we can finally access that family trust Henry set up. She laughed. The best part? They all think I'm just a devoted mother-to-be. Even that little mouse Elise doesn't suspect a thing. I backed away carefully and nearly ran into Nana. Her sharp eyes took in my pale face immediately. Garden, she said simply. Once we were safely outside, I told her everything. Nana listened, her expression growing harder. We need proof, Elise, and we need to be smart about this. Over the next few weeks, Nana and I documented everything. Nana also had her network of friends quietly ask questions about Sienna's background. What we discovered was troubling. Sienna's father had lost most of their family money in bad investments. She had grown up with privilege but watched it slip away, leaving her desperate to maintain the lifestyle she felt entitled to. Then came the family gathering that changed everything. It was meant to be a casual Sunday dinner, but Sienna had been in a mood all day, snapping at Luke and making passive-aggressive comments. When I excused myself to help Harper bring out dessert, Sienna followed me into the kitchen. Harper had gone to the basement for wine, leaving us alone. You know, Sienna said, leaning against the counter. I've been meaning to talk to you. Harper mentioned that you've been struggling to get pregnant. That must be so hard. I froze. That's really personal, Sienna. Oh, I'm just trying to be supportive. I mean, it makes sense. You're not exactly from the healthiest background. Who knows what kind of genetic issues you might be carrying? Maybe it's for the best. What did you just say? I'm saying that maybe you're not meant to have children, and honestly, with your history, would you even know how to be a good mother? You didn't exactly have the best role models. She was using my parents' death as a weapon. Something inside me snapped. How dare you? Oh, did I strike a nerve? Face it, Elise, you're the charity case in this family. Marcus felt sorry for you, and Harper is too polite to say anything, but we all know you don't really belong here. I heard a sharp intake of breath behind Sienna. We both turned to see Nana in the doorway, her phone held up. She had been recording. Interesting perspective, Sienna, Nana said, her voice like ice. Would you like to say anything else for the record? Sienna's face went white, then red. Nana, I was just... Save it. Nana maneuvered her wheelchair into the kitchen, and I noticed Harper standing behind her, fury on her face. How long have you been treating Elise this way? Harper demanded. The confrontation that followed was ugly. Sienna tried every tactic, crying, claiming hormones, insisting we were ganging up on her. Luke came running, and Sienna immediately went to him, sobbing. But Nana played the recording, every vicious word. Luke's face went from confusion to horror. Sienna, what is she talking about? Luke asked slowly. Before Sienna could answer, Nana spoke. Perhaps you should ask your wife about her plans for your parents' house and the family trust. I watched Sienna realize her world was crumbling. Luke looked between his wife and his family, and I saw the moment he understood he didn't really know the woman he had married. The gathering ended in chaos. Sienna left in tears, Luke in shocked silence. Harper and Henry made it clear that Sienna was not welcome until she could apologize sincerely and demonstrate real change. The aftermath was tense. Sienna went silent for weeks. Luke was devastated, caught between his wife and his family. Then came the day Sienna gave birth to a baby boy. Luke called with the news, tired but happy. Despite everything, we all wanted to be supportive of him. I struggled with what to do. Nana and I had talked about grace, about giving Sienna one more chance to show her true colors. So I made a baby gift. I spent 3 weeks creating handmade baby clothes, including a christening gown. Henry was an expert in vintage textile restoration, and I asked for his help. Together we created something beautiful, with hand-stitched details and a subtle pattern that was Henry's signature. Henry was touched. This is the first time anyone has wanted to work on something like this with me. Luke was never interested, and Marcus always said he didn't have the patience. I sent the package with a simple note. Congratulations on the birth of your son. Wishing you all the best. Elise. Nana suggested I follow up with a phone call. Let's see what she does with it. I waited 3 days, then called. Hi Sienna, I just wanted to make sure you received the package I sent. There was a pause. Oh that. Yes, I got it. Did you like it? Henry and I worked really hard on the christening gown. He showed me some special techniques his grandmother taught him. Another pause. Wait, Henry helped you make this? Yes. Didn't you notice the stitching? It's his signature pattern. He was so excited to finally share that skill with someone. I hope you kept it somewhere safe. Henry said pieces like that can become family heirlooms. I'll call you back, Sienna said abruptly and hung up. I later learned from Luke what happened. Sienna had thrown the package in the trash without looking at it properly, assuming it was cheap. When she realized what she had done, she frantically tried to retrieve it from the garbage, but the trash had already been collected. When Henry learned that Sienna had discarded something he had poured his heart into, he was devastated. Harper called Sienna directly. You threw away a gift your father-in-law made for his grandson. Do you have any idea how much that would have meant to him? But of course you don't, because you've never cared about what things mean, only what they cost. Harper was done with excuses. The family dinner that followed was for Nana's birthday. Sienna insisted on attending, desperate to get back into good graces. She arrived with multiple dishes, claiming she had cooked Nana's favorite meal herself. The table was laden with what looked like an elaborate Italian feast. Nana ate slowly, her expression unreadable. When the meal was finished, Nana smiled at Sienna. That was delicious, dear. You've clearly been practicing your cooking skills. Sienna beamed. I wanted to make something special for you, Nana. Indeed. In fact, it was so delicious that I have a proposal for you. I would love it if you and Luke moved in with me. My house is plenty big, and I would so enjoy having fresh, home-cooked meals like this every day. Sienna's smile froze. Move in with you? Yes, you're such a talented cook. Unless, of course, there's some reason you'd prefer their house to mine? Nana's tone was perfectly sincere, but I caught the glint in her eye. The trap was closing. Or perhaps you didn't actually cook this meal yourself? The color drained from Sienna's face. Of course I did. Really? Because I've been eating at Giovanni's restaurant for 40 years, and I'd recognize their braciole anywhere. The chef uses a very specific blend of herbs that his mother brought from Sicily. Luke turned to his wife. Sienna? Finally, Sienna broke. Fine. I ordered it from Giovanni's. I didn't have time to cook everything from scratch. So you lied, Henry said. Again. Harper stood. Sienna, you've lied about wanting to move in with us out of love when really you wanted to take our house. You lied about that handmade gift being inadequate when you hadn't even looked at it. You've lied about who you are since the day you married into this family. Sienna was crying now, tears of anger. You've all been against me from the start. No, Harper said firmly. We welcomed you with open arms. I gave you chance after chance, but you've thrown everyone away because you can't see past your own greed and insecurity. You need to leave. And you're not welcome back until you can show us genuine change. Not words, actions. Luke looked between his family and his wife. For the first time, he didn't jump to Sienna's defense. I think that's fair. Sienna's expression went from shocked to furious. Fine, Luke, we're leaving. But Luke shook his head. No, Sienna. You're leaving. I'm staying. Our son deserves better than this. He deserves to grow up in a family that values honesty and kindness. Harper cut off Sienna's mother when she tried to intervene. This is a family matter. Sienna is an adult, and she's made her choices. Now she has to live with the consequences. Sienna gathered her things and left, slamming the door. The house felt lighter, as if a dark cloud had lifted. Over the next few weeks, Sienna tried every manipulation tactic. She sent tearful messages about being a new mother. She had her mother call repeatedly. She tried to turn Harper's friends against us, but Harper and Henry held firm. Luke began seeing a therapist and admitted he had been enabling Sienna's behavior for years. I think I need to file for divorce, he told Marcus and me one evening. I can see now that she's the same person she's always been. It was heartbreaking but right. Luke started divorce proceedings and sought primary custody. During the custody hearing, Luke's answer was simple. Because I want my son to grow up knowing that love isn't conditional. I want him to understand that family means supporting each other, not competing, and I'm afraid that with his mother, he'll only learn the latter. The judge awarded Luke primary custody. Meanwhile, my life blossomed. Marcus and I bought a house with a garden, and I started a business creating custom memory books for families. Harper became my biggest supporter, helping me connect with clients. Henry and I developed a special bond through our shared love of craftsmanship. About 6 months later, Nana told me Luke had met someone. Her name is Rachel. She's a pediatric nurse. She's kind, genuine, and loves children for who they are. Rachel was everything Sienna wasn't. Warm, humble, funny, and unpretentious. The first time she came to family dinner, there was no competition, just genuine warmth. When Harper showed her my memory book, Rachel was genuinely moved. This is incredible. I wish I had something like this for my own family. I could make one for you, I said. Rachel's eyes filled with tears. You would do that? For me? Of course. This is what family is supposed to feel like. Luke and Rachel's relationship progressed naturally. When Luke introduced Rachel to his son, the baby took to her immediately. Sienna, meanwhile, had not changed. Her supervised visitations were inconsistent. She would cancel last minute or spend more time taking photos for social media than engaging with her son. Eventually, she signed away her parental rights in exchange for a financial settlement. Luke was heartbroken, but Rachel stepped up. She legally adopted his son, and together they created a stable, loving home. My business flourished. The memory books became sought after because they were meaningful. Harper helped me get featured in lifestyle magazines by connecting me with journalists who appreciated craftsmanship. The twins arrived on a sunny morning in May. We named them Nathan and Lily. Harper and Henry were over the moon. Nana insisted on teaching them songs and stories from her childhood. One afternoon, when the twins were 6 months old, I sat with Nana on her porch. She had grown frailer, but her mind was sharp. The universe has a way of balancing things out, she said. Sienna chose greed and manipulation, and she ended up alone. You chose authenticity and love, and look at what you have now. I squeezed her hand. I couldn't have done it without you, Nana. No, dear, I just reminded you of what was already there. You always had that strength. Nana passed away peacefully 3 months later. In her will, she left me her house with a letter. Dearest Elise, I leave you this house because I know you'll fill it with love and laughter. You proved that family is what we make it, not what we're born into. Use this house to build memories, to show your children what real love looks like. Remember, you are enough. You always were. With all my love, Nana. We moved into Nana's house and filled it with love. I converted one room into a studio. The garden became our sanctuary. We hosted family dinners regularly, filled with laughter and genuine connection. Years passed. Nathan and Lily grew into kind-hearted children who loved creating things with their hands. Luke and Rachel had 2 more children, and our combined families became a tight-knit unit. I heard Sienna had married again, this time to a wealthy businessman. Whether she had learned her lessons or just gotten better at hiding her nature, I didn't know, but I found I didn't care anymore. She was part of my past, a difficult chapter that had taught me important lessons but no longer had power over my present. One evening, as I tucked the twins into bed, Nathan asked, Mommy, why don't we see Aunt Sienna anymore? I sat on his bed, considering carefully. Sometimes, honey, people make choices that hurt those who love them. And when that happens, we have to make choices too, about how to protect ourselves and our hearts. But what if they're sorry? Lily asked. Then we listen. We give people chances to show they've changed. But we also trust our instincts. We don't let people hurt us over and over. As I joined Marcus on the porch, I reflected on how far I had come. From the insecure bride who let Sienna's words wound her, to the confident woman I was now. I had learned to set boundaries, to stand up for myself, to recognize manipulation. But more importantly, I had learned what real family looked like. It wasn't about perfection or wealth or status. It was about showing up, being honest, supporting each other. It was Harper bringing me soup when I was sick. and Henry teaching my children his skills. It was Rachel becoming one of my closest friends. It was Marcus standing by my side, his love steady and unwavering. Sometimes late at night, I would think about that first day at my wedding when Sienna whispered those cutting words. Her cruelty had been a crucible that burned away my insecurities and revealed the strength I had always possessed. I learned you can't control how others treat you, but you can control how you respond. You can choose to internalize their cruelty or recognize it as a reflection of their own issues. You can choose to keep trying to win their approval or realize that approval from the wrong people is worthless. Most importantly, I learned that family isn't about obligation or blood. It's about mutual respect, genuine affection, and willingness to support each other. The family I had built with Marcus, the acceptance from Harper and Henry, the wisdom from Nana, the friendship with Rachel, these were worth more than any designer handbag Sienna had ever valued. As I sat on the porch watching the sunset, Marcus reached for my hand. "What are you thinking about?" "How grateful I am. For all of it. Even the hard parts. Especially the hard parts." He understood. The challenges with Sienna had strengthened our marriage, shown us what we didn't want our family to become, and motivated us to create something better. In the end, Sienna taught me the most valuable lesson, not through her words or manipulations, but through her absence. She showed me that true wealth isn't measured in designer labels or bank accounts. It's measured in relationships built on honesty, in moments of genuine connection, in the ability to create beauty and meaning with your own hands and heart. I had started this journey as the orphan girl who desperately wanted to belong. I ended it as a woman who knew her worth, who had built a life filled with authentic love and meaningful work, who could stand tall and say she belonged because she had claimed it for herself. And that was the sweetest victory of all. Not revenge, not Sienna's downfall, but my own transformation from someone who sought validation to someone who knew she was already enough. The twins' laughter drifted from the house, mixed with Harper and Henry playing with them. Rachel and Luke would arrive soon for weekly family dinner. The table was set with mismatched plates I had painted myself, each one unique. The centerpiece was flowers from our garden in a vase Henry helped me create. Nothing matched, nothing was designer, nothing cost a fortune, but everything was made with love, chosen with intention, and filled with meaning. And as I stood to go inside, to join my family in all their imperfect, genuine, beautiful chaos, I knew this was exactly where I was meant to be. Sienna had wanted the big house, the family money, the status and control, but in reaching for those things, she lost what truly mattered. I had wanted only to belong, to love, and be loved. And in staying true to that simple desire, I had gained everything. The story didn't end with dramatic confrontation or revenge. It ended with quiet contentment, with knowledge that I had chosen the right path, with peace that comes from living authentically. It ended with me walking into a house filled with love, surrounded by people who valued me for who I was, ready to share another meal, another evening, another piece of the beautiful, ordinary life I had built. And that was more than enough. It was everything.